What's up, guys? Alright, so first of all, I had a link tree which had all my links for all my video content and everything else, and that's got censored, I guess you can say, because of false and misleading information. So what that means is I instead made a tap link .cc link for all my video links, for all my channel links, so you can see everything there, and you can contact me if you want through there as well. So I'm going to have that in the description below, but unfortunately all my other video descriptions are going to have the link tree, which doesn't work anymore, but it is what it is. That's what censorship does. So, and I'm not going to put on my own website because my website is not about me, it's about the movement. So talking about that, we have a lot of updates to talk about, and I wanted to talk with you about all the stuff that I'm up to and what we're going to do moving forward. So, we have meetings on Discord. If you're not on Discord already, feel free to join it. You can go to nita.one/chat. Okay, and you can see all the different servers. We link to other servers. We have a bunch of different chats talking about every different topic and different parts of the website, because there's a lot of backlinks, right? I mean, there's one backlink about health, there's one about independent media, there's one about freedom cells, every different thing you can think of to try to tie in action and how you can make those things even better. Like if you're talking to a health practitioner, how can you talk to them about natural law? How could you talk to independent media about natural law, about unifying together, about making more of a presence, making more of an impact, because they can. These are questions that are needed to be asked, and no one's asking them, so your help is definitely crucial here. Remember, you are the movement, you are the natural leader. If you haven't seen that video yet that I did recently about natural leaders, check it out. I think it's very inspiring for people who want to do good in the world, who want to put out content, who maybe don't know how, and if you need extra resources, you could go to nita.one/resources. If you want a whole bunch of resources to share with people, go to nita.one/sheets, okay? Because there's, at the bottom of that page, you'll have a whole zip file full of tons of resources that I compile together and that I update often. So please, if you want to join our Discord meetings, if you want to get more involved, do so, because what we need and what I look for are leaders. Because the problem I see, especially even in the Discord communities that I'm in with hundreds of people are silent. They're not doing anything, and if they are talking, they're talking about what's going on in the world, they're complaining, but they're not doing, they're not taking action. Okay, and now I'm going to talk deeper and deeper about action, going into detail, showing different ways of how you can do action, but not just that, but showing it myself, showing you guys, well, this is how we take action, this is what it looks like in action, and this is what can hopefully inspire you so you can take action. But why do you need it from me? Do you see what's out there in the world? Do you see what's going on? You can take action already based on what you see, based on what you know, simple truths. Yeah, okay, we need freedom. Yeah, okay, we need to free ourselves, okay, ultimately first. And that means, yes, one-on-one is a big impact. It's a big deal. If you see somebody changing in front of you, that's a big deal. If you see someone's life changing in front of you, if you see their health getting better, they're healing their body, that's a powerful thing. You take that, you see that, and you're like, wow, okay, I need to bring this to the rest of the world. That's what we see, not just in medicine, but in bringing natural law to people. If you looked into it and realized the power that it has, because we're talking about slavery. And if you don't think we're talking about slavery, check out my video on slavery. And if you need more reasons to all of this, just check out my general playlist that is titled Everything is Denatured, Government Debunked. Okay, and that's going to be updated as time moves on. We're going to add more to that. But also, in the description below, I'm going to include a link to a new channel. It's going to be on YouTube and probably other platforms too, depends. Okay, and it's going to include a lot of different people I know in real life, and we're going to do collaborations. We're going to do fun things. We're going to do obnoxious things, whatever, fun things, freedom things, because you got to show your freedom, you got to show your fun, especially in a world that doesn't want it or doesn't promote it or doesn't allow it. Okay, you got to be the change, and thus in every way possible you can do so, and you could breach every different level of that pyramid system. I'm going to continue as I move forward in my future with doing my best at exposing the system and also showing the alternative system that is all around us, that is nature, because nature is the answer. Okay, so that's a big deal to me, and I'm going to hold that true, and I'm going to show how true that is through my efforts. I don't have to tell you anymore. Okay, that's why I do longer videos now showing compilations, why I'm doing presentations. Look forward to my presentation soon. I'm going to do a presentation, I'm going to put on this channel. You see other people doing presentations, I put it on this channel as well. It's a great thing that we have here with online groups and communities, although much of them are inactive, although they're truth seekers, okay, because they're just a bunch of lame, hypocritical people. Most of the time, I'm sorry, but that's what they are. If they're not taking action, they're not putting those truths into sharing it with other people who need that information, and they're just staying in their echo chambers, staying in debates like, oh, let's talk about this, and oh, well, it'll increase my perspective. How about you bring this knowledge to people who need it, who never been exposed to this before? Because then that you'll learn for yourself by exposing yourself to differing information that you know is going to conflict with your own information. That's how you're going to truly learn. And by getting out in the real world, that's where the real movement's going to be. And that's what's going to bypass all censorship no matter what. Okay, and that's really important for independent media, right? Because they're constantly talking about censorship. And I've been striving about these topics for quite a while now, but I see the change. I see it happening. There's groups that I'm involved with in real life, where and there may be other movements as well. So be it. They're people that are coming together. They want freedom. They have a good heart, a good mind on their shoulders. They want to change the world in a good way that they can positively do so. And so they're open for me doing a presentation there. I've bonded with some. I might do an interview with a nurse, for example, who was at some of these hospitals doing a lot with, this whole pandemic going on. But it's going to be interesting to see those perspectives so I can provide more of my perspective. But don't wait on me. Don't wait on what I can provide. You decide. You help do this yourself. Okay. You go out there. You go spread this information. I will give you resources. The whole movement is here because I want to provide you with resources so you can create more change in your communities, and so that way we can all have a unifying banner, so we can all say this is who we are, this is what we're a part of, and this is what we're moving toward. Okay, so that's what unification is. It's ultimately just mass understanding of education, because education is truly the only one action that we have to do. And so whether you want to call it advertising, through shirts and flyers and sheets and stickers and anything like that, okay, well, it helps bring people to this information. So advertising for education, yes, that's what education is. Education is, the tree is advertising right now outside. It's advertising because it's showing itself. And if I look at it and I think about it and I see, well, what could I do with this tree? I could cut it down. I could use it for resource. I'm learning from it. It's automatically teaching me by its advertisement. It's a natural advertisement for sure, but it's definitely there for a reason. Everything's there for a reason. You can learn from everything. So do not suppress that, because once you learn from everything, you realize how powerful everything is, then you're like, wow, I need to go deeper into this. And especially nowadays, I want people to have worth. I want people to have meaning and not give up and say, oh my gosh, the world's going to doom. No one's going to listen to me, blah, blah, blah. Once you see the action in progress, end game. It's done. You see it for yourself. Okay? And that's all you can need. And you feel more content in your own life. All right, now I'm not going to say what you should do and what you shouldn't do, but I know for a fact that you will feel better if you're in the truth community and you're complaining all the time, but you actually do something with those complaints and bring it to the world, who might want to hear it from you, first of all, and might like your complaints, but also like the information behind your complaints and like your action steps behind doing those complaints, and saying, hey guys, we need to get in this movement, we need to share this information, we can free people, we can actually change the world, for real. So that's how powerful I see it as. And if you don't understand exactly where I'm coming from, reach out to me, because this is a small movement right now. It's not all that big. I don't have many people going out there. I don't have any funding from anywhere. So you reach out to me, I'll have a one-on-one conversation with you. I'll talk to you about it. I have no problem with that. Okay, but as long as we can get out there and we start doing something, that's all that matters. Just get out there and start doing something. Okay, because, one person wants to talk about actions, another one wants to talk about solutions, and they're two different things. Well, guess what? Taking action is part of the solution, because most people can't even take action to begin with. Okay, you have to first get there and then go all the way, like Buddha says. right? For the truth. You have to do both. It's not either or. You start and go all the way. Those are two of the hardest things to do, but that's what we have to do, and that's what I run by. That's my mantra that I run by. And other than all the other stuff that I mentioned, and I want you to subscribe to the channel below, okay? Because it's going to be all the collabs and doing all the fun stuff, which I think you should be a part of, and may also inspire you to do the same if you want, okay? Please, copy me. Do the same. I don't care, okay? Like, there's no such thing as copyright. Everyone copies from each other all the time. And, am I worried about, oh, my works are going to get blah, blah, blah? No. At the end of the day, it's nature, okay? It's all, we're all in the same world. We're just stuck in these mental prisons, including copyright. It's actually a mental thing, not always a legal thing, trust me, for content creators, because they're like, oh, it's mine, and I don't want anyone to take this from me, and I want to feel special. It's not about ego here. It's about actually changing things and about actually putting things in the right direction. So, aside from that channel, I'm working on my book still, my health book. I recently went back into it because I haven't worked on it in a while, and I was like, man, I need to get back on this because I already had like 480 pages, in just like 3 to 4 months after 2019. So it was like heading into 2020. I had that many pages done. So I went back onto that, and that's why I'm not going to produce as much content, especially if I'm starting another channel, I'm planning my presentation, I'm doing more in real life. But I think the content quality will increase if I'm focusing more on documentaries, focusing more on presentations, focusing more on in real life content. Although the in real life stuff might just be more genuine and raw, I don't want it to be super edited. I'm not all about that. It depends on the content, and if it is something that is more formal or formal driven, then yeah, I'll edit it. If it's not, then it's not, So I'm not in any crazy rush or constricted mindset to do a particular thing. I'm with experimenting with different things to see what it can do, and it also keeps it fun. I'm not about trying to get views. If I was trying to get views, I'd be talking about everyday news like I used to do with health, and going long into that and being super dramatic and energetic and putting out videos every single day and doing clickbait and all that. I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, I'm going to produce what has always been in my heart, as I've done since the beginning of this channel, is just keep going with what my heart has been telling me to do, and I'm going to get involved with farms, going to get involved with schools, whatever I can do, and I encourage you to do the same. Okay, that's the whole point of this channel, and for my own sake, I'm just one person in this movement. I'm trying to show you what I can do, and hopefully you can show me what you can do, and we can share each other's stuff, and we'll go from there, because that would be awesome. Having a movement around the world of people who are trying their best, striving about this answer that is so evident to human life, that is only going to grow when technology takes over the world. It's only going to grow when government continues to expand or continue to try to be nature or imitate it in different ways and claim to be at peace with it when they're clearly not. This is because, as you know, with artificial leadership or artificial intelligence or any of the videos that I've produced, it's always been about imitating the natural and manipulating the natural, using the natural against itself. And so what we want to do is use the unnatural against itself, by introducing the natural, crowding out the bad by adding in the good. Something that you can do in diet, and something you can do when it comes to healing the world. Okay, so come up with short-term and long-term goals, as I mentioned in my meeting podcast. If you haven't checked those out, check that out. Because we have podcasts now, at least maybe, like 5 or 6 episodes? Not a whole bunch, but enough, really concentrated stuff in there. I think is really important if people want to take action and they're kind of stuck somewhere. I think it might help people to listen to other people's case scenarios and their environments and how they emerge stronger and better, and how maybe I can come up with recommendations for myself every week and keep myself on track. Okay, not that you have to keep this like a business, but it helps to have direction here, especially when you have a goal at hand, which, I ask for the independent media, do you really have a goal at hand? Okay, you want to free the world and you want to educate people. Well, is it working? Have we done it for how long now? How do we move forward in the future? How do we make the biggest impact if we want to? With enough people understanding that is, because that's the barrier that I'm hitting with independent media, is understanding that yeah, we need a movement to make a huge impact. We need to, it's not just like about trending on Twitter and trying to make the whole thing a trending subject, although that's of course a goal for like natural law, for example. But that comes in time, right? With the numbers, with people all on board with a similar message, with a similar action. So there's many things to talk about when it comes to action, and that's why I have this channel. That's why I go into depth with different topics. But I hope that you can figure it out yourself too in your own life, and you can make a difference in your own life, and I need you to know that you can. You have to. It's the first step before any action. Okay, so with today's relevance on masks and vaccines, please check out nita.one/ownership, because that link will share with you my mask and vaccine flyer, which not only has websites for education on it, but shares the lens of natural law, through all of that. Okay, but I think is kind of important. When we're talking about universal concepts and the world in trouble. It's not just the U.S., although, we've always had health problems more than other countries. We've always been more targeted. No surprise there. Okay, but understand that you can use today's environments as a way to bring the truth to people as time moves on, but you have to sort of capitalize on those opportunities. When those opportunities hit, that's when you go and you say, yes, this is the time I'm going to take control, right now. And well, look at that light, that's way better. But check it out, and also I'm doing a brochure project. I want to thank Mason Gleason for helping me out on that. One of the only people who really stepped up to the plate and said, yes, I'll help you out on this. Read books, found passages, took that and put it into a brochure project with me, where we read different books, so we can try to compile the best quotes that we see from these books, so we can share it with the mass public, and helping them not only find these resources to maybe look into it more for themselves, but to get them questioning more about authority or anything that's going on in today's environment. Again, the biggest stuff affecting nature. Now, when you have freedom cells, you have to keep in mind, right, what could I do with this? How could I bring other freedom cells together? If you are in fractal networks, especially with Unite Awake, which is an organization I'm aware of from Sweden, that's great stuff that people are doing around the world. And there's people who are setting up mass demonstrations on streets, people coming together. I see a lot of different events happening. That's great. But if there's no education and there's no representation, where is it going to go? Okay, so nita.one/freedom cells, and you'll see more of the perspective that I'm sharing there. Okay, it's important to understand the ups and downs of everything. I understand there's ups and downs to the movement that I've created, but I also create it for a certain reason. I have a blueprint there for a certain reason, taking into account the future, and then making these presentations to sort of prove that I've, done the thinking behind it, and how it would progress, especially with, counter opposition or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and if you want to say, oh, I'm joining this movement, no, your contribution determines how much you've joined. Okay, because nature's the answer is a present truth, right? Natural law is present. You don't have to accept it. It's a matter of your contribution toward it. That's a matter of how much you've joined. So if you have a flag, if you have the materials, if you're sharing natural law, if you're talking about nature, that's what, because you are the movement. It's not the flag, it's not the materials. You're not worshipping those things ever. Just like a tattoo or any art form, it's a representational form of symbolism, which one of my videos talks about symbolism. You can check it out if you'd like. It's there to represent something bigger, something deeper, something huge, right? Really important. So keep in mind everything I shared with you today. Hopefully I shared with you really good information of summing up everything that's going on, and maybe you'll check out some of those resources. If you want to learn more about teaching people natural law directly, you can go to nita.one/learn. And if you want all the site links in general, again, that one zip file from /sheets will, at the bottom of the page, will have every one of those links, because there's a particular file in there that will show you all the different links. But if you go to /learn, you'll see that, I went through this process with my sister. I have a question sheet for a bunch of questions that help you understand natural law yourself, without me having to tell you anything. You can kind of come to the realization yourself, and through my show, You're the Question, we can demonstrate that to more people. If you know people who might want to learn natural law, or you're somebody yourself and you want somebody to talk to you one-on-one about it, or you have questions about it, please also reach out to me. You can become a guest on my show. You Are the Question. That's the show, and again, /learn, you can see some examples of that show, and there's a question sheet there, there's a test sheet, so if you are familiar with natural law, you can test yourself, something really essential if you feel like you want to do that before you start educating others. Although, like I said, just start getting out there, expressing yourself. If you understand nature itself, you don't have to understand every aspect of natural law, because you understand, the world you live in the simplest degree. You don't, the complexities is what actually ties us back. We want to keep things at a simple level, otherwise people won't understand it. So you start at a basic level. It's actually better than going deep into the rabbit hole and understanding every little aspect, because nobody's there to begin with. See, you have to start at their level. So it's actually better that you actually don't go too crazy into the information. In fact, I've stopped watching videos as a whole. I stopped watching like YouTube and all this other stuff, because it's all just, to me, at the end of the day, it goes like this, and then it just levels out. Okay, it's all the same thing at the end of the day. People complaining. Okay, the world's a mess. I get it. I know what's happening. So what I want to see more of is content oriented around action, around getting out there, causing some controversy, some drama, questions, interviews, stuff that is unique that I think people like to see more of anyways. And that is the type of content you'll see on this other channel that I'm going to create. Okay, and if it's, like I said, more formal, it's going to go in this channel as well, or it's going to link to each other. We'll see how that goes. But we're going to create shirts. We're going to do some fun things and conversation starters. And it's actually way easier in a world that is oppressed, because if people are wearing masks, and you get their reaction on camera, they're exposing themselves. You don't have to do a thing. And if you're walking in with no mask to a place that requires masks, well, they're gonna start a conversation with you. You don't even have to go up to them. Like, it's free content essentially. You walk in and boom, they walk up to you. They already start the conversation for you. They start the interview for you. So content has never been easier, in fact, because there's so much to report on and what's going on in the world. But the question is, what content's actually going to make a difference and educate people and help them, be on the same page and share that with more people and replicate those actions? A movement, okay, which has those three aspects: representation, okay, and demonstration and presentation, aka representation, integration or networking, okay, and education. Okay, so education, natural law, natural rights, natural medicine, natural being, simple things, love, truth, humanity, okay? Integration, networking, people coming together, freedom cells, clubs, groups, meetup.com, all these different resources you can use to find people. We are change chapters, okay? You can start up Facebook groups, whatever you have to do, even again on their own platforms. Don't be afraid to do it if it helps find more people. If it's leading toward conservatives, leading toward liberals, if it helps them, come to this realization later in time about natural law and greater truths, great. Just bringing people together is a powerful thing. I talk about that in my previous videos. Check it out. Okay? And then we have representation, which is really the essential part of a movement, which says, yeah, we're together in this. This is something we share. This is something unique. And what is that? It represents a tree, or it represents a sun. Oh, okay, this is unique. This is something never seen before. And it helps lead people to our website where they can learn more for themselves. And if they're deeply invested in it, then they will become more outspoken leading guides. So I think it's a magical process ultimately at the end of the day, because I've seen it with people in real life, and I want you to see it as well. So we have to see it with our own eyes, and with natural law we have to talk to each other one-on-one. It's the best way to deliver that information and the best way to ultimately see change. And ultimately what I'm going to do is also take photos of my actions later on, and that's the whole point of the other channel as well, is to show it in action, like I said. So the elites are effective. The elites are effective because they're together, because they're action-oriented, they're directed. Are we? That's the question. We want to compete, we want to be the one unifying counter-agenda, as I say. We have to understand their strategies. Okay, and notice Mark Passio in the recent years, he gets sick and tired of people not taking action. He's been talking about this content for well over 20 years and nothing has happened. Same thing with InfoWars, same thing with almost every single independent media content creator or any free thinker who's been questioning the status quo and predicting events like 9/11 and the next economic collapse that's going to happen again. Again, no surprise to me at this point. No surprise, because people are not taking action and not coming together and doing their best ultimately to bring this information to new people. So we need to inspire each other and motivate each other to keep doing that. Okay, even if my exact methodology is wrong, we need to motivate each other toward that. Otherwise, it's impossible to achieve. We need to first have in our imagination and in our mind that yes, it is possible and it can be done. So stop complaining and start doing. Create conversation. We're all people who realize we need freedom, and we have it, so simply bring it to people. Make them aware of it. It's all about awareness. That's it. You're not bringing anything new into perspective. The movement's not new. It's simply recognizing what is here. That's why it's actually the most unique movement there is. So it's simply a matter of contribution toward the truth, toward the movement, toward natural law, toward your goals. It's there. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you to take action. Just as your weight loss, just as any one of your other goals is waiting for you to have certain dependencies and requirements toward going toward it. Understand what that is. Numbers of people coming together. Mark Passio says all the time, we need numbers. Well, how are you going to measure those numbers? How are those numbers going to actually amass? How is it going to, you're going to take a rally and replicate that to create other rallies and understand that these are all rallies around the same cause of one central message that is going to get viral because everyone shares it? Well, a movement. Representation, folks. So, just some ideas to share with you, and I encourage that everybody maybe gets a flag if you want to create more of an impact, but other things as well I mentioned in this video. Please check it out if you want to make more of an impact. That's the great thing about it. You don't have to go to meetings if that's not the action you choose. There's many actions to choose from. You don't have to do one or the other. You, depending on your circumstance as well, maybe you're in college, maybe you have a certain job that's super strict. There's always something you can do. Do not suppress yourself. If you see something has to be done, make your legacy now. You live life like this. Make your legacy survive, okay? This is what's more important. This is your real job, your true responsibility. And look forward to my next presentation if you want a bit more direction and inspiration, because maybe that's the one thing you need to see then, before you head off and go even more into action, because I think it's really important, because I'm making that specifically for a club that is taking action, looking forward to taking action, that's bringing people together in real life. So it's the perfect integration of and networking of people. Now what we have to do is bring representation and education. So that's what I'm going to help share with them, and I'll share with you if you need more insight into. But remember, it is never too late, and it actually, it's becoming late, but what I'm saying is take action now. Live in the present, right? Do it now. Do it. Just do it. But seriously, take a look at the action list if you haven't already, which is also on Slashdot, because those actions might be important. And ask yourself, which actions are you currently pursuing, and which ones seem interesting to you? Which ones do you have questions about? Do you have to do research on any particular thing on that action list, to help yourself learn more? It could be simple things, but some people are facing simple burdens that are really dragging them down in life, and I don't want to see that. We should address everything that comes to our awareness, okay? If we see there's any burdens or problems we have to get past, let's make sure to address it. Now, make sure you have the givens, okay? This is something I think is also really important to mention here. As time moves forward, survival is really important, okay? Survival is an essential part of nature that at least everyone that's supposed to be in nature is supposed to have first and foremost. Food, water, family, okay? And making sure you have all these things that are supposed to be basic survival, you're supposed to be born with, supposed to have already. A lot of people don't have them. So when the collapse happens, you need to be ready. You need to, so that way when you do have everything, you can barter with other people and you automatically become the central figure in the town because everybody's looking up to you and dependent on you, for the resources that you have. And then soon your mind is an essential resource for them, because now they're waking up to what's going on and seeing that the world around them is not what they thought it was, and that, everything did go crazy, like you said, because you were there telling them that things would go crazy. If you plant the seeds and you turn out being right later on, they might come back to you. So keep that in mind. That's why any action is an essential action here. Any action. But of course, keep it nonviolent and keep it consistent. Keep it going. Don't stop. Persistence is key. Trump always said, right? Never give up. And this is essential. Doesn't matter who you are, but that is an essential principle for all of life if you're taking action. Okay? Especially as a natural leader, as the video describes. Now, teach about responsibility, teach your children about responsibility and sharing it. Share those givens, the family, the simple things, because that's ultimately what we're promoting. So is that hard to do? And when I first created this movement, a lot of things dawned on me. And it hit me, and I was just got this general rush of feeling like, man, I'm not doing enough. I realize how much is not being done, and I see all these video ideas that aren't being done. I'm like, well, this could make a really big impact in certain ways, and it drove me insane. It drove me a little bit insane, because I saw all this stuff that has to be done, and I saw a perspective that a lot of people didn't see. So I want to ask you, have you really thought about how essential a movement is? Have you really thought about how essential people coming together are, and what it would do to bring more people together around these ideas, and everything that is surrounded with it, like the media presence and your own life? You don't want to get too sidetracked. You don't want to get too egotistical. You don't want to falter here by going too far out of your own life to do things that are essentially unnatural to your life. Because if you want to promote the natural, then why are you heading into the unnatural territory? You don't want to. So these are questions that if you ask yourself, it'll dawn upon you the impact that we can have here. The impact that we can have if we just take simple actions and amass that on a grand scale. If you look at people like Athene, who did things, Athene, interesting life, but for one person to make such a difference, any leader in history, for one person to make such a difference, to think around ways of the status quo, to attain fame in different ways, but that's not what I seek. Okay, but generally seeing the things that they've done to make an impact. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. So have faith in yourself, and anything is possible. But never lose touch of yourself. Never lose touch of your inner nature. Okay, always live life, have fun, and I think this other channel is going to show you that fun side of me as well, which I never really got to express that much on this, more documentary-based channel. So please check it out if you haven't already. And thank you for watching. Corey Edmund Angelat. Nature is the answer. Survive, thrive, nourish.